And good evening and welcome back to Kingsport 1851, second session of part one, wherein we will finally meet the captain, I think. I am rejoined by my wonderful cast in a somewhat abbreviated function tonight, but we also have we have two new characters and one new person, so it's kind of neat. So first, I'd like to introduce my partner in crime, the person who keeps showing up for these things. I don't know why. I'm thinking a curse. Probably a curse. So please, Serafina, why don't you introduce yourself and your character?
Hi, I'm Serafina. My pronouns are she, her, and I am playing Captain Charlotte Goodwin. Last week I was playing the cook, but she really just wasn't hitting the right notes for me. And since I'm going to be stuck with her for a while, I felt like I really needed to like her a lot. I don't know much about the captain except that she has a rough past and she's terrifying. And so we'll go from there.
Are you sure you can play terrifying, Serafina?
No.
I'm not sure. Okay, cool.
I'm very nervous.
Cool. Step up to the quarterdeck, boys. Next, I'd like to introduce someone I'm very, very happy to get at the table today. Eli.
Hi. So I'm Eli, and I'm going to be playing the Strider, which is like a person that's very good at hunting. And his name is Carlito Avila. So yeah.
All right. Well, there's probably plenty of work for someone who's good at killing things on board a whaling ship. Yeah. And finally, Alejandro, who is playing our merchant.
I am playing Oren Merle Aberton, and I am the reason why you all are here. Kind of. Mostly, largely, I believe so. And let's get this show on the road. Let's get to business.
Fantastic. Business is always good. Cool. All right, so as Serafina mentioned, she's switching characters and Eli is bringing in a new character. So first things first, I think let's talk a little bit about bonds and maybe your backgrounds and how that's all going to work. So Serafina, you've stuck with the Believer, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yep.
Since we're unfortunately not getting to see Olivia this session, I think you should fill in at least one bond, but if you maybe two, but you can leave the other two open for later.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to fill in bonds for people that aren't here. So I'm going to leave that one out, I think. I mean, who wants to have gone to jail? Either of you? No? Somebody that once stood... I have a couple choices. Somebody that once stood up to me and refused to obey a direct order. Someone I have my eye on for first mate, which I'm actually hoping I can get Scott to agree to, because that would make sense. And then second chance after their jail sentence, and then the only one on board to have seen my private quarters.
I'm interested in the last one, I think.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Because I think I'm gonna keep you the different character with James once Captain Goodwin is a fool set in their ways, and you will open them to new experiences.
Cool. Great.
That sounds good. I will try and fix the spreadsheet I did for Olivia and for Carlito.
I just messed with mine to like put them in the right place.
That is why I didn't fix yours, because I'd have to go back and refix them. So. Right. But I did try and fix it so that in the keeper there's a column now next to each bond for the name.
Eli, were you interested in any of the other three that I have there?
I could see the first one, and I don't mind so the first one being stood up to you, but I also don't mind the you gave me a second chance after some sort of sentence.
Okay.
I mean, Carlito's a person of color in this place, so I can't imagine how that might go poorly.
in New England. Yeah, I think that could be interesting because then that gives us a really sympathetic relationship starting off,
Yeah.
which I think is always nice. Let's do that. Well, I'm sure I'm going to have plenty of people to argue with, so we'll skip the standing up to me and refusing to obey.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, actually, you can keep that first one around until somebody finally does it.
Right, and then I'll just, yeah.
Actually, let's talk a little bit about Carlito. So we know that Charlotte is basically from the Innsmouth or Dunwich Goodwins. There's two branches to that, and probably maybe you're from the Dunsmouth Dunswich. Dunswich.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that might make some sense. Like that's why you're considered neutral.
I'm neutral.
Yeah, neutral. So let's talk a little bit about Carlito. Where are you from?
I hope this doesn't get too off the rails or something, but I'm kind of thinking maybe Brazil. I'm going with the Portuguese settler thing, and then some sort of connection there.
No, that makes complete sense. Whalers were phenomenally diverse.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So you're Brazilian, and you probably just been working merchant lines and just ended up in Kingsport.
Yeah, basically is what I'm picturing. Well-traveled. Yeah.
Have you been a whaling before?
No, I've been sealing before, but whaling is new.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Oh yeah, and you got the giant seal in there. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't do too much to modify the base spreadsheets. Maybe I'll think about that for the next one. Cool. So yeah, you got some bonds. You want to take them with anybody?
Okay.
You and the captain in that questionable night. That might be fun.
What is it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love those sorts of questions. So if someone wants to come forward with that, that's cool.
I would totally take that.
Okay. I think that's what name. So yeah. Do we want to elaborate on that right now, or just let it come up later?
Let's see how it comes out in play. We'll see if what our relationship seems like.
Yeah.
Maybe the people that look at the two of us are like, okay, you guys spend a night together, and we're like, we just drank whiskey.
Yeah.
Who
we
knows?
almost died of hypothermia.
We drank all the whiskey I had.
Yeah.
And we were very close to one another and told war stories until we were rescued.
Yeah.
I
like it.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. Let's talk. Oh yeah.
So for Oren, if any of these sound right, the first one is person once racked up a debt and left me to pay the bill. Me and a person once hunted a giant seal together, and I never lose my way, but when blank is the only person, or when I do, this person is the only one I look to for guidance.
I'm good with either the first one or the second one. What do you think?
Given that you're a merchant, I kind of feel like the first one fits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back when you made less money.
Yeah.
Or you were down on your luck.
Oh, I was never down on my luck. I just
You just stuck him with the bill.
I just stuck him with the bill, yeah. I mean,
that's what made him lucky.
Fair.
You had a sucker to place it on.
Fair.
Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about Captain Goodwin.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you a captain of long experience?
Yeah, I think she has an amount of experience. She's probably in her early 30s and has been sailing since she was a child.
Cool. And mostly in the merchant
Yeah, I don't think she's ever done any military service. She's done sort of, and
But
she's done
short,
whaling before. What's that?
short haul, or have you done like long haul shipping down to South America or the transatlantic, or God forbid, Australia?
I think she's done some long haul shipping before.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
She would be a really desirable captain if it weren't for certain things about her.
Several things, as in like only Deep One families seem to hire women to do anything.
Right?
Yeah, well, yeah. It's much easier to be Italian, I guess, when you're a fish monster with no external genitalia. I'm just not going to ponder where that thought leads me, so I'm just going to keep moving. All right. I think maybe we can explore a little bit in play. Why you ended up getting this job, and have you ever captained a whaler before?
Once.
Oh, shall we hear just a smidge about it?
It did not go as planned, but it went as planned.
That's not ominous at all. Not even a little bit.
Charlotte has a lot of feelings about sort of like confronting the sublime nature of the universe through uproarious chaos. And so she got what she wanted, but I don't think she killed a whale.
I may squee if you have a conversation that starts with like, but hearken, Olivia, to the little lower layer. Cool. I'd like to talk safety. I'm pretty sure everybody at this table, being good gauntleteers, you all know about the X card, which is why I think I need to tell you about it anyway. The X card is the way that we will make sure that problematic content doesn't get into the game and be all problematic and hurt people and do other nasty things that we don't want it to do. So if you need to use X card, we have a role for your party. Let me just drop that in the chat because I forgot to. It's our old friend Dooley Wise Kitten, and there's an X card button for that. You can also say X card. You can wave frantically and do something like this. You can just type it in the chat. And on a side note, I encourage anybody to use the chat to communicate with me, so that you don't have to interrupt anybody during play if you need to get any message. We also use lines and veils. And we have a bunch right now. Our lines, and you can see them all on the safety tab on the character keeper. We have lines on sexual violence, romantic coercion, torture of animals, teeth stuff, which I believe is interpreted to be about hurting people's teeth. Historically accurate and problematic descriptions of First Nations people, which I have also brought in to just basically be historically accurate racism. I don't have a problem with bringing in some themes that involve, racial issues, but let's not get too accurate with it. And my veil and a veil. So again, I should have mentioned this, but a line is something that we're just not going to have in the game period, and a veil is something that we can have, but we're not going to have on screen. I usually veil sex because it's the internet. You don't need it to get it here. But if anybody else has anything they'd like to add here, we can do it right now, and we can revisit this stuff at any time.
Good.
If I felt more confident, I would say that we should use the check-in stuff, but maybe we can think about that next time. I know if you know how to do it, feel free to do it. Basically, if you hold up an OK sign, that means you're asking if everybody's okay with something, and then a thumbs up is it's good. A thumbs sideways means we slow down, and thumb down is let's not do it. But that can be a little hard to see on a screen, but we can at least leave it there in case anybody wants to try doing it. I think it's actually a pretty good technique face to face. So, and it's it's a LARP thing. So cool. So I guess last week we left off with the captain's carriage rolling into Kingsport, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So what do you want to do first, oh Captain, my captain?
I think the first time we see Charlotte, um, it's first thing in the morning. She's not staying in an inn in town. She is sleeping on the boat already. Um, and so I'm gonna say that like the day she got there, the carpenters sort of like finished up at least her cabin, if not the rest of the below decks area. Um, and so when people arrive in the morning,
Can I interject real quick? I'm
yeah,
sorry. If you remember, Oren had the carpenter give him more space than the captain, so that might be a point of conflict.
yes, that is
Okay.
definitely going to be a point of conflict.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, by the way. Just
It doesn't have to be.
You can accept it.
Yeah, there's gonna be at least a conversation about it.
Sure. Okay.
Because I don't know that she actually gives too much of a shit. But there's probably gonna be a conversation about it. So I think that when everyone arrives at first light, she's already up and dressed and drinking coffee, like on the deck, waiting for everybody.
Okay, that's not anything horrible at all. So I guess Bill Walker kind of is surprised to see you, comes striding up like, Captain?
Walker, right?
Yes, I'm Captain. I'm the bosun's mate, Captain.
It's Sir, and I'm very glad to see you. What's on the list for today?
Well, Captain, we're still taking on supplies. We have yet to hire another boat steerer. I was checking the riggings. The mates have not yet arrived, so I don't know if you have any thoughts on who we're hiring to be a mate. There's a million things, Captain, but I'm handling most of them while Mr. Fife continues to look for crew and fix the rigging.
I want to speak to Mr. Fife, get me lists of everything we have so far and everyone we have signed on. And if there is any sort of hiring list for people that are in town already, I'd like to see those too.
Yes, ma'am. Right away, ma'am.
There's coffee.
Thank you, ma'am. So just as a point of curiosity, did Kaylin quit?
I don't think Kaylin quit. I think Kaylin's still here, so feel free to use her.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think she'll be a great cook.
I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think she'll be a great cook.
Okie dokie. I think the thing to do is to throw Oren at you then. So I think, Oren, you come down at some point in the morning, maybe? Not at the crack of dawn like those crazy ship people do?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah, and I think that when you get there, she has like stripped off her jacket and is helping load materials and is like going over lists with people, and there are like merchants coming and maybe even a few people standing around on the deck like waiting to be evaluated for a crew position. But yeah, she's got her sleeves rolled up and her hair tied back and she's going to town.
I go straight to the people that are waiting to be evaluated, and I start like walking around them, looking them up and down, looking at their arms, stuff like that.
A couple of minutes later, because she doesn't get rushed, she comes walking up and like wipes the sweat off her brow and says, all right, who's who?
Who?
She's talking to them, not you.
Yeah.
You can answer her if you want, though.
Captain Goodwin, it is a pleasure to see you again.
Oh, you're Atherton? Aberton. I never remember your name right. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
I didn't recognize you down there with the others and the packages.
Well, you can't be afraid of hard work on a ship.
That's right. Did you hear that? I point to the people. Can't be afraid of hard work on a ship.
What have you been up to?
I've been organizing, getting the ship ready. It's looking marvelous. The lack of a captain has not been an issue at this point. You will see that it will be ready for you to take when the time is appropriate.
She's been very much listening to you, and she like leans against the side of the ship and says, "I'm curious as to why my cabin is the size that it is."
Because you're the captain, and I am the funder.
Interesting. So you plan on spending a lot of time in your cabin?
The time that's required of me to spend in my cabin, I will. Captain Goodwin, it sounds like you have an issue with this, and let me assure you that the proper decision and God, I can't think of English today.
Okay.
Apologies. The proper protocols were considered.
Oh,
and
Oren, I don't need space. I'm going to be up here most of the time.
Good. I'll have a word with the captain. I'll have the word with the carpenter.
I just need enough space for a chair and a book for when I do actually want time to myself. I would like to at some point have a conversation with you about what your role on the physical ship will be, because I don't like dead weight on my crew.
Dead weight, that's a... Yeah. Anything else?
That's all.
Okay.
All three of you were hired. And then she walks off.
Wait, did you say you're hired to all the people?
Yeah, all three of them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's...
I go up on a higher portion of the deck, you know, and I cross my arms and I watch what's going on. Mostly Captain Goodwin, but I'm watching over everything because I won't be dead weight.
Important.
So Carlito, let's talk about what you've done in Kingsport and where you're coming from.
Sorry, what was the first part of that?
I guess what do you, how? Let me rephrase it.
No.
How recently have you arrived in Kingsport?
I think I've been here for not long, like maybe a couple weeks at most. Yeah.
All right. And have you been doing any work during that time, or?
Yeah, like maybe odd jobs and things like that. Just basically waiting for like a good opportunity to get out on a ship on a good journey, make some money.
And how well known were you as a sealer?
I think it was actually quite well known. I was quite good at it, so I think I'd have a reputation for it for sure.
So let's stage this at the in the common room of the inn you're staying at.
Okay. Yeah.
And a slender African American man walks in. He's kind of looking around, shaking his head. Then he sees you, kind of blinks for a second, and immediately comes and sits down in front of you.
And yeah, I think I was chatting to someone at the bar, and talking about like you know, hunting and making some sort of joke about like a near escape or something like that. And I turned to the van like, "Hello, who might you be?"
Pardon me, sir. Are you named Carlito? Carlito Villa?
I am. Yes, that is me. Wait, who's asking?
Oh, my name, sir, is Bill Walker, sir. I'm the bosun's mate on board the Tethys. She's fitting out to go a whaling in the offshore fishing grounds in the Pacific.
Whaling. Well, that's interesting.
I've heard you have some not insignificant reputation as a sealer, sir.
Oh yes, I have quite a bit of experience. Not to brag, of course, but one season I brought in, and he names a really impressive number that is also believable low.
Well, sir, that is impressive. I myself have had the fortune to go on a few sealing voyages myself, and it's my opinion that many of the skills of a sealer are transferable to a whaler.
That's my understanding as well, and I was sort of hoping to maybe find a whaling ship. So, what good luck?
Well, sir, without making any promise or obligation, may I mention to you that we are still in the hunt for a boat steerer, a harpooner, sir.
Well, um, that is promising. So, who might I speak to about that?
He probably gets a little nervous at that point. Well, sir, the Tethys is owned by the Pembletons and the Goodwins, sir. It is an unusual ship. Um, have you ever met anyone who sailed under Captain Goodwin, Captain Charlotte Goodwin, sir?
I know Captain Charlotte Goodwin. Amazing.
Oh, you do, sir. Well then, he sort of noticeably looks relieved. Well, sir, in that case, sir, I would be most obliged if you could join me down on slip 4. Tethys is docked right at the end. You'll find her a fair ship, a goodly bark.
That's very exciting. Let me finish up my drink here, and I'll meet you down there.
Well, sir, thank you, sir. This is a stroke of luck for us all, sir. And he walks out with that attitude that somehow communicates, and my goodness, we needed it. All right, so do we want to jump right to the interview between Captain Goodwin? Now, Captain Goodwin, I didn't get to ask you this because we just picked up with you striding across the quarterdeck like the one god beneath heaven that you are on board. But what's your impression of the Tethys?
I think she's well fitted. And I mean, a thing that is true about Charlotte is she's not one to complain one way or the other. She'll make any ship work. But she showed up and was sort of surprised and pleased at how fit she seems.
Was there anything ominous about the Tethys? Or do you have any omens? Did you do the auspices?
Yeah, I think the reason that she slept on the ship is because she's starting to get to know her. And the thing that she feels is the thing that I sort of mentioned last game, where like she wants to go under rather than stay afloat. She wants to like explore the mysteries. She wants to go deep. And to Goodwin's mind, that's perfect. To most people, it would probably be ominous.
Ships are supposed to generally be on the right side of the water.
Just looking for adventure, friend.
Fantastic. So, Carlito, what's your impression of the Tethys?
Oh, I think it's spooky. Yeah, I think it's got a kind of a bad vibe. But money's money, and I've been in worse situations. So,
what's a detail of it that makes you feel spooky?
There's something about what I'm picturing is something about the way the shadows lay on it just seem they're a bit darker than they should be.
Mm.
Excellent. That sounds good. All right. So, you come aboard. Bill's there, and he takes you up to see the captain. I'm gonna guess that Oren is gonna be here, whether asked or not. He is the founder. He is funding a large portion of this, so he gets to check who signs the book.
So does Charlotte Goodwin have a nickname by any chance?
Charlie.
Charlie. Okay, yeah. And then I like that you hear from a distance, Charlie.
She conducts most of her business on like the quarterdeck. Like she doesn't really spend a lot of time below anyway. So she had been like going over paperwork, and she like looks up and she smiles real wide and is like, holy shit. And goes like, she doesn't run, right? But she like strides down the deck and like across the plank and shakes hands with you and like and hugs you with one arm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what the hell are you doing here?
Oh, just going where the winds and the waters take me. I've been in town for a couple weeks and surprised we didn't bump into each other.
I just got here.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
yesterday.
you've already lined up leading this whaler here.
Well, they did call me after they called about 10 other people.
Ah, I see. Well, they're not settling. They're moving upwards.
I mean, I like to think so. Are you looking for work?
I am indeed. This gentleman, Bill Walker, I think it was.
Bill's a good man.
He told me that you were looking for a harpooner.
I am. Come on board. You can meet Aberton.
Aberton.
Yeah, he's the merchant funding this whole expedition.
Interesting.
A little stiff, but he's good.
All right. So, Carlito comes up onto the ship.
What's Aberton doing?
Up on top, watching the crew, like before. Just, pacing.
Wow. Yeah, I shout up, hey, Aberton. Come down and meet our new harpooner.
I come down. Oh, Carlito. Good lad.
Oh, so yes, it is indeed you, Oren Arberton. Hi.
You two know each other?
Yeah, we do.
He's a solid young man.
Yeah.
Let me see those arms.
Why
Good. He's strong.
Why do you feel the arms of all my crew members?
Yeah, Carlito's definitely like giving you like a raised eyebrow.
I need to make sure that they're good, that they can handle their work.
We're not horses.
I can usually tell if they can handle their work by the way they stand amidships.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. We'll get you used to the ways you look at sailors.
I don't. Okay. I am. So, Mr. Carlito, you will be the new harpooner.
Yes, if you'll have me.
Your reputation precedes you. We've worked together in the past on a different capacity.
That we have. How are your fortune these days?
I am funding this expedition, as would be expected.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hope that everything's in order then.
You know what? Get this man a drink. He deserves a drink. And he says that to Captain Goodwin.
What time of day is it?
I mean, probably the sun's over the yard arm, so.
Okay. I look at him and I say, well, luckily we don't have to go far for that. And I pull a flask off of my hip, and hand it over.
I'll take a swig. Charlie, you're always prepared.
That's the same whiskey that we drank that night.
Oh yes, it was good whiskey.
It was good whiskey. It was a shitty night.
That was a terrible night. Oh my gosh. So,
I suppose there's the matter of deciding the lay, huh? I did some cursory research, and there's now a little chart that indicates the expected range. Yep.
Is it under crew?
Yeah, it's under that's on the crew tab.
Great. So if he's first,
He's a boat steerer, so that's a
yeah,
harpooner.
yeah.
50. Oh, no, wait, 100. Wait, I'm sorry. Which one's better? The lower is better, right?
Yeah, the lower the lay, the greater percentage of the profits you're taking.
Right.
Yeah, then 100.
You want to make less than our third boat steer?
Wait, say
Are
again?
they ranked?
A little bit. So so each mate on the ship will command a whaleboat when you go lower for whales, and each mate will have a boat steerer. So for right now, I've been just assuming that that's how they're going to break out.
Okay. Yeah, 100th means that he would be making less than, right?
Aberton's okay with that.
So is that what you offer him, 100th lay?
Yeah.
Really? With my reputation?
I think we should probably offer him at least an 80th.
Oh, an 80th?
If not a 70th, but that's my personal feeling.
Okay. Let's compromise with a 90th. Settled, done. Good job.
What do you say?
I'm trying to think of what I might use to manipulate in order to get an 80th.
The captain just suggested the 70th, so had a character. I'd go for broke.
Oh yeah, so yeah, yes, okay. So yeah, I would be aiming for 70th, that higher. I'm a little lost with the numbers. So yeah. Come on, Aberton. You know the work I do. You know how much I'll be able to bring in. You can't
Precisely. That's why I gave you a solid 10 there. So that's 90. That's good. That's good.
Did you roll?
You're worth it. You're worth it.
I'm gonna try. Can I? Is
it
okay for me to roll? Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Roll plus
so
beauty.
what do I have for beauty? I think it's a 0. So many tabs.
Yeah, it's a 0.
Okay, that's all right. 2d6. So that's a 9. So
Cool. So for player characters on a 7 through 9, choose. If they do it, they'll take +1 forward. If they refuse, they are acting under pressure.
What does it mean to be acting under pressure at this point?
You would have to roll, and then I will offer you we'll see, on a 10, you would hold firm, and you would keep your original. I think that would be you would keep your original terms, and on 7 through 9, you would falter, buckle, or break, and I would offer you a worst outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice.
That's enticing. I want to be offered.
All right, so
Pat offers hard bargains. It doesn't go badly at all.
acting under pressure is balance, so this will be entertaining.
Oh,
It's a solid -1. 8, 7.
okay.
Okay. This is what occurs to you. That if you don't sweeten your offer at least a little bit, and the other harpooners hear about how much you lowballed them after you already lowballed Hezekiah, who has much more experience as a whaler, they might quit. Or just jump ship as soon as you dock somewhere. So you figure you got to come up a little from 90. But on the other hand, if you want to throw something back at him, it's just that, Carlito does have a lot of experience hunting, but he's never been on a whaler before.
So I look angrily at the captain for suggesting 70. And I look at Carlito and go, look, I'll give you, we can agree to an 82.
80.
He glares at the captain again and goes, okay.
Excellent. Thank you. And I guess we shake on it or whatever is.
Your hand.
He takes your hand and I say, I never thought I would be negotiating with a friend, but so be it.
Oh,
We're friends.
Oh, dearie me. So it's going to be my instinct. I know that Charlotte is thinking about promoting James to first mate, which I'd be okay with. I'm going to leave the mate somewhat ill-defined because I got a lot of people who are going to be coming in and out of this boat. So I'm going to make sure there's plenty of positions for people to fill. Okay. But yeah, it looks like you will be the first mate's boat steerer. Now, just as a small trivia, why on earth are harpooneers called boat steerers? That doesn't make any sense, especially since they spend most of their time at the front of the boat. It goes like this. When the whaleboat approaches a whale, the harpooner is up at the front. He has an oar up until that point, but when they get close enough, he drops the oar, picks up the harpoon, which is just left in this little hook on the deck. It's called a crotch because nothing like being on the open seas with a razor sharp knife implement right by your head. Yeah. Then the harpooner throws it into the whale and hopefully hits the whale, at which point the harpoon will stick in the whale. That will fix the boat to the whale. The whale will attempt to run away, and several hundred yards of rope are going to run out, whistling at top speed so fast that the mate who's steering the boat has to ladle water onto the rope so that it doesn't burn. And by the way, it's intricately wound all around through the boat, up and down the benches. So you make one wrong step, you can get fouled in that rope. You're going out the boat. Anyway. Once the whale is tired enough that you can make your close approach, the mate and the harpooner change places because, again, this is the thing to do on the pitching open seas when you're approaching a 70-foot long toothed monstrosity that wants to kill you. At which point the mate will be at the front and use a long, heavy spear that's a lot more like a pike. Called a lance, and the lance is what they use to actually to finish the job. But that is why the harpooner is called the boat steerer, because at the most important moment, when you're right up next to the whale, that's what he's doing. So great. It's safe. This is totally safe.
This is a really great plan.
Yeah. No, these plans all make sense. Cool. I think I desperately need to see Josias and Captain Goodwin. Maybe down at the office on the wharf.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so Josias finally brings you down, and it's like when you finally arrive, he's got some tea laid out for you. It's got the traditional Kingsport fixings: milk, lemon, salt. And it's like, well, Captain Goodwin, how good of you to finally show up.
She just sips her tea. It is good of me to show up, I think. You need a strong captain for this expedition, and you've gotten one.
Well, as you can imagine, Captain Goodwin, I'm rather loath to put my ship in the command of a Goodwin. It's a Pembleton ship. Always been. But as you're not an Innsmouth Goodwin, this will have to do.
Are we going to do this fun pissing match the entire dinner?
I have no plans to, but just so you do not interfere with any of the other goals of this voyage.
She leans forward, puts her tea down really delicately, and says, "And what are the other goals of this voyage?"
That, my dear captain, is a salt matter, and them that are salt as are aboard your ship will have the handling of it.
I have no problem with you and yours doing what you and yours must do, but I must know what the danger is to me and mine.
I honestly do not know. The ship is to go to a place, and there we will see what we shall see. There will be more omens and visions and the what like as we approach. I would say to you, Captain Goodwin, you may not be salt, but your family is. I'd pay attention to what you dream as you come.
She leans back and says, "I've no interest in arguing with you about any of this, but my ship, my crew, their safety is my most important thing. And so, if your strange plans put them at risk, I will toss those plans overboard."
Well, my plans are important to me, but so is the return of 50 or 70,000 barrels, 5 or 7,000 barrels of oil. So, on that we can share an agreement, except I would perhaps put slightly more impetus on the profit and the safety of the vessel.
Is a vessel worth more to you than human life? There's like a pause, and then they both laugh.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Josias would get that glint in his face where he would look his least human.
No, I think we understand each other.
Now, there's another matter, which now that you are here, you can perhaps have more of the attending to. I have spoken to a witch, or I've had Olivia speak to the witch. That may have been a mistake. Olivia is a fine girl and wicked smart, but she has her own ways, and they're not the ways of a lot of people.
By which you mean she is off-putting.
Well, that's most politic if you can. Most
The
politic.
cook told me she tried to give the witch butter.
Well, I'll allow that there was some confusion as to the meaning of that idiom, yes.
So what do you need the witch for?
Even with those damned Innsmouthers being involved in this. Innsmouth is only but recently made, or announced at least. They have no time or power to spend upon this endeavor. I have asked for the witch to perform the marriage of land and sea to give fortune to our expedition. I believe that's what Mr. Abbotton is liking to call it.
All right. And she's agreed?
Within bounds, yes. She came by the other day muttering something about rituals, which I decided that were better not to understand what she meant.
Well, I assume you don't need me to take part in these things. What do you need?
I need you to make sure that they are done correctly. Or are you not a Dunswich Goodwin? Are you not of the forest?
I'll speak to the witch.
You will know better in any case, Charlotte, what you want and desire for the good working and safety of your ship. Beyond that, the ship should have the good fortune to reach the place that we want it to reach. I know not what to ask for. I have not the gift to stare into it. I but hear the waves call me, and I don't profess to be a prophet or understand what they're saying to me.
I will speak to the witch.
All right. You've hired Carlito Avila, I see from the logbook.
I have, yes.
And you are satisfied with that choice.
Why wouldn't I be?
His past is not such that would make him popular with many ship captains, not even sailing from Kingsport.
If we only hired on people who were popular with other ship captains, I wouldn't be captain.
It is no matter of mine how you seek to run your ship. Just a whaler is enough of an asylum that one does not need to continually upgrade the quality of its inhabitants.
That is a fair point.
All right, well, I'm sure you have much to do, and I have much to add, so be on with you.
She like stands up and gives him like a half mocking but half honest salute.
Yeah, he's seen that one before. He knows how close you can walk the line of insubordination. He was first mate for many years.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice. Cool. So I want to check in with Oren and Carlito. What are you guys up to while the captain is busy having ominous discussions with the owner?
I've been kind of poking around the ship, checking things out. Yeah, seeing what kind of tools they have on board and that sort of thing.
Sounds like a cause for you to meet some of the other harpooners, perhaps.
Sure.
And Oren, what have you been up to?
So I think that some of the people that were hired, that Oren hired, were actually other creatures of his type. And so we were probably like at the bottom of the ship or somewhere discussing the plans that the Pumpkins have for the ship.
I like that. Let's make up a dude. Gabriel sounds like a good name. Cool. All right, so you've got a couple of the guys and their main spokesman, Gabriel McCoy, who's a fort topman, which means he's a sailor who can go up into the rigging and do, which means he's more skilled. And so what have you? So he's just looking at you like, and what do you know of these plans by these Pembletons?
They're okay. So they are. This is out of character. The plan is to go to a place in the middle of the ocean, Pacific Ocean, right, and do something mysterious there. I reveal that to them. I mean, I say that.
Huh. Well, now I might have some objections to that.
Objections. Perhaps we can take advantage of it.
Go on, cousin.
Our people have been waning of late. I think that this is an opportunity to wrest some power.
We've not often had much to do with the bottom dwellers. Their magic is old and they are fearsome, but on land they have grown weak.
They're dependent.
We'll have to be careful. They're formidable when their ire is raised.
We must avoid that. as of now, I am considered a member of the family to some
I think
obnoxious degree.
they all visibly shudder.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm all for living underwater for the rest of my time, but there's something just off about those people.
So yeah.
So you guys are discussing all these plans when you hear a crash, and when everybody does that kind of quick turnaround, poor Ali is standing there holding a bottle of wine.
That's the little boy, right?
Yes, the cabin boy / scullery assistant.
I reveal myself.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Cool. There's a move for that. Wow. Okay.
It's nothing like terrifying a small human. Apparently I'm not good at revealing myself, but yeah. So it's it's plus beyond. What was I looking at?
It's plus balance is for when you reveal your true form to overcome danger. Right, and you are you're not very balanced, are you?
No.
So what's that come out to?
What's that?
What's that come out to?
It is 7.
All right, well, 7, you're gonna get to choose 1.
Oh, I get to choose 2.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll through this. Cool. Cool. So which ones do you want?
Well, the kind of so those around you hesitate is kind of what I'm looking for. You reveal it in an opportunity created by your form. Basically, I want to scare this kid into silence.
Yeah. Yep. Let me just look at the other things on there. Okay, cool. Yeah. Ali loses it. He drops the bottle and runs shrieking. But he doesn't even have the wits to go up decks. He just runs to another part of the hold, and you can hear him crying.
And he hears my ethereal, now very otherworldly voice say, "And the secret will be kept."
Oh, jeez, Louise. Cool. I wanted to tell a haunted ship story. Cool. This is good. Cool.
So just so Eli knows, that the picture down at the bottom left, that's what we look like. And so I just kind of changed into this floating, glowing kind of thing, and my tentacles kind of reached out to him.
Yeah, that's not gonna scar a kid for life. Nah.
Humans are scar easily, anyways.
Cool. So, yeah, Carlito, you're poking around on the deck, probably looking at the different whale boats, and up comes two other people carrying their harpoons. One is Hezekiah, the second harpooner, who's a very dour-looking Nantucketer, and the other is Elizabeth, who is African American and slender, but kind of fierce-looking. Hezekiah is looking at you like, "So how much did you get taken down, huh? I'm doing this for less of a lay than I thought I was deserving of."
Oh, well, should we really be comparing money? I don't think that's polite when we first have met each other.
I've heard your name. I've heard of you, I think. You're the sealer, right?
That I am.
I've heard stories about a sealer, but Probably not you. Well, what I want to know is why is my lay so damn bad when I am clearly the only actual harpooner here?
I can't tell you that Aberton man, he's a strange fellow.
He's a landsman. Doesn't understand anything about the running of a ship.
I would agree with that.
So you think that you're ready to hunt the spermaceti, huh?
I would say so. I feel very confident about it.
Oh, you do you?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are you going to do the first time a whale rises under you and stoves your boat? And you're left with naught but a broken oar to hang on to, all alone on the water, hoping against hope that maybe one of the other boats will see you. What are you going to do then, Sealer?
Swim?
Oh, I feel like there's maybe need to be actually, yeah, I don't know. How do we want to do this? Do you feel like you're getting enough that you need to act under pressure here? Or is Carlito just that kind of confident guy?
He is. He's pretty swaggery. He's not really bothered.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well then, how am I better know the people I'm shipping with can do their job. Can you throw at all?
And he's like, yes, I can. And I feel like I have to do a roll for this. I want to, we'll take a harpoon and we'll say there's somewhere set up. Obviously, I'm not like, maybe are we on deck or we can?
Yeah, you can actually like jump up onto one of the whale boats. They're in the davits hanging off the side of the ship.
Okay.
Or you can like show your form kneeling up against the crotch and maybe throw at something that's maybe a poster or somebody can throw a barrel or something into the water.
What kind of role do you think that would be?
I think acting under pressure.
Yeah, okay. My balance isn't great, so we'll see how this goes.
Well, that could be part of it, you know?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You're deadly when there's actual work to be done, but...
Yeah. Okay. Go to D6. Oh, no, that's a 2.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let me just check my little make things worse list I can throw at you. Cool. Yeah, so you're trying to get this done, and you're like, but you know, the boat's kind of rocking unpredictably because you're up against the dock and you're in the davits and they're swinging a little, and you're like, I don't know what to do, and you're trying, and you just take forever to try and get your shot off, and finally Hezekiah just jumps right up on the boat next to you and whips a shot right into the barrel. It's like, you better not hesitate like that, Sealer. You hesitate like that, every man on your boat's gonna go to Davy Jones.
I'll keep that in mind. I'll work on it.
See that you do. It's bad enough with shipping with a woman. Any woman. All the women.
And how does is it Elizabeth?
Yeah, she doesn't say anything. She just kind of watches the two of you, and then when Hezekiah jumps back down and storms down to his berth, she kind of nods at you, stands for a moment, then whips in this weird underhanded throwing motion. The harpoon sails out and hits the barrel like right next to where he hit it. And she nods, pulls it back in, and just walks down to her berth.
I love her. I think Carlito is smitten with her.
That's entirely possible. That's the problem with being a hen frigate. Cool. Let me just check in real quick with the captain and before we go on our break. So, what's up with you, Charlie?
Not too much. I've actually been spending the last minute or two trying to figure out what kind of pet she has. I think she has a pet monkey. Apparently they were very popular. They were a thing that a lot of people had. So I think a thing that I want to do is I want to have like an actual getting to know you kind of conversation with Oren. Because I get the sense that he's mad at me. And
Well, you're on ship, and the midday meal is the big meal that's eaten on board a ship. That's dinner. So you could have dinner with him. By which I mean lunch.
I think what I might do is I invite him off ship to have a meal in the pub in town. Like at the end of the day after everything's done. Like I'm going to buy him a meal. And I think that's what I'd like to do.
So how good a restaurant do you go to?
Are we doing this right now, or are we doing this?
You want to do it after the break, or?
I'm good either way. Okay,
yeah, we can do it right now.
Okay.
I mean, I think I take him to like, it's not like a slum. It's like the nicer restaurant in town. Because, to a certain extent, I'm thinking of him like a business partner. So it's like, let's have a business meal. And you want to just fast forward to like us actually being at dinner.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're sitting in this beautiful little restaurant in Kingsport. And I say, do you have anything stuck in your craw from the other day?
Well, we were negotiating with that lad, and you just went and gave him a quarter of the boat.
I can see why that would. Have you ever been on a whaling ship before?
Yeah, for the last week I've been on it several times.
I meant before now.
Not quite. I've seen many of them offshore, though.
So the most dangerous job on this boat is boat steerer.
So we give it to a sealer.
So we give it to a person with experience. But the reason why I argued for him making a higher cut was because it is the most challenging and dangerous job we have.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to make sure that, going forward, we know where the authority lies on the boat.
I am glad you're willing to accept and understand my position.
Of course. We all have our jobs. My job is the safety of the crew and our mission and everything we are about. And I just want to find out what you want to be in charge of. So there's a clear line.
I am in charge of you.
And she leans back and she's got a glass of wine and she sits back in her chair and goes, in what way are you in charge of me, Oren?
We need to make sure that the ship goes out well. You are a woman, and there are concerns about a woman being on board a ship, which I think, of course, are absurd. And it needs to, the crew need to understand that there will be a male figure overlooking and ensuring the safety of everybody.
She takes a long sip of her wine. And then she leans back forward and she says, "Why don't you let me worry about the discipline of the crew? I've been on boats since I was 5. I've made many men tremble in terror at my ability to command. I don't need no man backing me up."
I'm just letting you know I'm here. I'm here for you.
I appreciate that. But I think any direction that you give the crew could undermine my position, so I would appreciate it if your support were silent except when we are in private.
You're an interesting individual.
Am I?
I appreciate your classic English word for cojones. I will support you, but know that if I feel that there is anything strange afoot, I have your back.
That's all I want. And she toasts you.
Yeah, and he's like staring you straight in the eyes, and he's like taking the toast very like.
It's worth noting.
I'm watching you.
Yeah, it's worth noting 2 things that I haven't really mentioned about her out loud, but that are in her character sheet. Is that instead of a cross, she wears like a very beautiful gold amulet that is a crescent moon, because that's like her religious symbol. And so with her shirt sort of unbuttoned while you're having dinner, you can see that, and the huge scar that runs from behind her right ear down her throat. She's not afraid of any of this.
That's not ominous at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like get together with Captain Ahab and discuss, weird scars and
the problems of leadership,
But all I want to do is punch God, and my crew is not behind that plan. Okay, cool. I think that merits a break. So let's come back, say at 5-2, and
Great.
we'll do more stuff. I think it's time that Phoebe Greenwood come onto the stage for a little while. So I'll see you all shortly. Cool. So yeah, everything seems fine. This is fine. Not ominous at all. You're not about to take a metaphorical voyage into the dark heart of the American experience. But I think what does happen is that one day, not too long after this, Bill Walker comes down into the cabin, Captain, while you're like probably going over charts and books.
Yeah.
Captain, there's a rather distraught young lady standing on the quarterdeck, insisting that she see you.
She's got the monkey on her shoulder, like while she's going through stuff. And she says, "Does she want a job or?"
She just says she needs to speak to you. Says it's concerning a marriage of some kind.
I'll be right there. And I think the only stuff that's in her quarters, because she did get her room like made smaller, is space for like a large chair that has like a working table next to it and her bed. And there's like a little chest that has, it looks like some personal effects probably in it. And that's kind of it. And there's like a little hammock for the monkey.
Right. The way these normally were arranged is you'd have little sleeping alcoves off the great cabin. You still have plenty of room in the great cabin, even though apparently Oren has taken up a lot of residence there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. So up you go onto the quarterdeck, and there's a very agitated. Do you know the the Greenwoods at all?
I think she knows them tangentially, like as a family that exists, but I don't think she knows her.
Yeah, so you would guess she might be a Greenwood. Perhaps it's the blonde hair or the the look of not quite saying everything she knows, or the charms dangling around her neck. But she's kind of just muttering to herself over and over, and then she looks at like, you're Charlotte Goodwin.
I am, and you are.
I'm Phoebe Greenwood.
And she like reaches out and shakes her hand.
I Master Josias asked me to do a service for the ship.
Then get to it.
Well, there are issues, Captain, that I thought I must discuss with you.
She like looks around. Are all the men like sort of responding to this person being on the ship?
There's probably a lot of sailors kind of just hanging from the rigging, staring down, looking at this little tableau.
I glance around and I see the men's behavior and I say, isn't it interesting the way that work seems to have stopped all of a sudden?
Fair enough.
They all sort of scramble back to what they were doing. And I say, well, there's nowhere private on a ship. Let's go speak on land.
Okay. Just so you know, for future reference, as you are the captain, the quarterdeck is your sanctum of sanctums, and no one is allowed to be on it without your leave.
Oh, okay, so maybe I'll just go there.
Also, you get to stand on the weather side, which is the side the wind blows from, and nobody else can stand there unless you ask them to. It's like a weird thing, but a captain is one of the few people on a ship that can, whenever they want to, have solitude.
That's awesome. So yeah, I just take her to the quarterdeck.
All right. So the quarterdeck, in case people don't know anything about ships, is kind of the back quarter of a ship. Sometimes it's raised up, as it is in this case. Other times it's not. Cool. So she like, so I've been researching the spell. It's very complicated, but I know who I have to ask to help me perform the ceremony, but I also don't know everything I should be asking for, and Captain, it's very complicated.
Take a breath. What were you told to ask for?
Just the good fortune in sailing of the vessel. That seems very vague. I don't like being vague with them of the air. It doesn't work well.
So are you asking me for more direction?
Well, you are the captain, but Captain, this thing will also... Even if I cast it tonight, the spell has strange and lasting effects.
And I lean up against the side of the ship, and I look away from her for so long a moment that she kind of thinks I've forgotten that she's there, out to sea, and I say, well, everything has a price.
Well, yes, that's some of what I need to get to. So I was informed by Miss Livia that some of the old ways of the old sacrifices were just right out, and I agree with that because I'm not about that. And then some of the more ritualistic ways that we might have done it, even had we been able to get Mr. Brady to join in, that's out too. Apparently, we're not allowed to do that.
So you need blood willingly given.
I need at least blood willingly given. Here's the problem. I need someone with grave sin. Now, in the old days, this was easy because any average witch had enough sin, or at least was accused of such, that it would be easy to do. But I'm only 20. I've never been married. There was one time I thought I was going to get married, and then there was that time in the hayride. And
okay.
I don't even kill bunnies. I mean, except for food.
Is Carlito within shouting distance?
Yeah, probably. He's probably doing some. There's always work to do on a ship.
Avila to the quarterdeck.
And yeah, I come on up. What's up, Charlie? I mean, Captain, because I didn't see her there, and then
Yeah.
once I see her there, I'm like, Captain, yes, Captain.
How familiar are you with the old ways?
Which old ways?
Indeed. Ways of witchcraft and folk magic.
And he gets a little like uncomfortable looking. He's
I
like,
prefer to call it the art, but fine.
and he's like, yeah, I've heard a thing or two. You know, everyone has a Nana who knows a thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we have been asked to bless the ship in the ways of the old, in the art as you have it. And there's something that we require that I think you might be able to provide.
And what would that be?
I'll let her explain.
I need someone who has committed a grave sin.
Oh, is that all?
Well, I don't make the rules. I mean, I do sometimes. Like, I worked out this really interesting divination spell. It just uses a chicken bone, and nobody's interested.
No.
Nobody's interested, Phoebe. Nobody's interested.
So, what about me do you need? I don't have to die for this spell, do
No.
I?
No, I'm not allowed to do that anymore. At all. I didn't want to do it. Period. Well, you'll have to participate in the spell. Do you have any proficiency with killing things?
Yes, I would say I'm quite comfortable with that.
All right. Well, that will help. All right. Well, do you think you could catch a shark?
Yes, I would love to catch a shark.
That would be good. That would be good because if we could sacrifice the shark in the shallows off Kingsport Head after we finish the altar, and yeah, that would help. Shark would be very good, very powerful for the magic. Very, very good, very good. Then I don't think we could get a horse. Captain, can we get a horse?
No.
No horses.
Horses have so much land magic. All right. Maybe we could burn a tree or something. I'll
Much better
check my
choice.
books. This just um. Well, see, Captain. The only way I'm really sure this is going to work is to do prophecy. So I'm gonna call upon them that know that, and the thing about it, Captain, is prophecies are dangerous things and twist very easy.
I know.
I suppose you do. Well, I'm feeling strangely uncomfortable continuing this conversation, so I'm going to research what a good horse substitute would be. Maybe a pig. Pig might work. And
The time and place.
as soon as it should be soon. The dark of the moon is near upon us, and that would be a good time, I think. I don't know. I always feel it's a little creepier when the moon's dark, so we'll go over that.
Well then, to your research.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Good luck.
She walks off muttering, something like she keeps trying to say this one phrase over and going, no, that's not right.
So,
I look at you and say, sorry to jump that on you.
why did you think of me for this?
Carlito, you know and I know that all men carry at least one great sin with them. And
Yeah.
considering how we met,
That's fair. That is fair.
let it be known that I don't judge you for any of it. We make our living as murderers on the high seas. Who am I to judge you?
And this is what I like about you, Charlie.
I appreciate that. I hope it's what the other men like about me, too.
I don't know that that's what they like about you.
Well, I guess I'll find out, won't I? Here, get off my quarterdeck. I have thinking to do.
Will do. And he heads out. Do
Great.
I have to roll something to catch a shark?
I'm not sure how much we're going to need to drill down on that. Let's think about this for a second. I mean, you can harpoon sharks. That's actually one way to do it.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Oren, Gabriel finds you in the great cabin. And he does his obeisance until he's sure that nobody's around, and then kicks the door shut and is like, "Have you heard tell that something's afoot?"
Could be more specific.
There's rumors that the witch in town, that pathetic healing girl, is to try and do a working.
Yeah. I thought I saw her skulking about.
I figured she was just here to sell the captain some charm or essential oil or somewhat. But the rumors are that she is planning a working. That she is in fact planning the marriage of land and sea.
So, out of character, what exactly is the marriage of land and sea?
Out of character, I'm not really sure about all the aspects of it, except it's probably one of those magical workings that's very vague and extremely powerful. But its main goal is to unite the magic of land and sea and then use that to do something. So the marriage part just creates the conditions to do the actual working, which can be of many different types.
Okay. Gabriel, I'm going to find this young woman, and perhaps we can turn this to our favor.
I was thinking the same thing, that perhaps we should allow the humans to do the hard work and let us add our own note to this song.
I think so.
I'm sure you'll have no trouble convincing her.
She's a child.
Well, they all are, aren't they, compared to us?
Yes, but she's a child. Okay, I will take care of this.
Oh, good. Oh, good. This is not horrible at all. Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess. Do you want to go and do that now, or?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, it's not hard to find Phoebe Greenwood's house. You just look for the one with the massive herb garden and the signs about healing potions and all sorts of things. It looks like a little apothecary shop, kind of. When you step in, a little bell rings over the door. Nobody seems to be coming out immediately when you first step in, and you can see there's definitely some kind of office or living space behind the counter.
I will go through the stuff and see if she's the real thing or if she's just a kid that found a book and can read,
So in the outer works, most of what she sells is, crap for tourists. But there are definitely signs that she knows quite a lot about herbcraft. You don't think she's a kid with a book. You think she was raised in some kind of tradition. How powerful she is within the tradition is a different matter.
Okay. I call out to, what's her name, Greenwood? Is that her name?
Greenwood, yeah.
Yeah, I call out to Ms. Greenwood.
She pokes her head around the corner of the doorway to the back, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. What was it you need?"
I hear that you will be performing a blessing on my boat, on my ship.
She pops out. Oh, you're on Mr. Pembleton's boat.
I am Oren Aberton. I am funding this expedition.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad to see you then. Come back, please.
I go.
The room is just covered, like wall to floor, with papers that she's been writing notes and diagrams on. There's like stacks of half-open books. There's, she's got like a skull with a candle on it, and there's some burnt powder around it. She's been weaving some charms. Like, please excuse the mess, sir. I've been rather frantic.
This is the mess of somebody hard at work. I can appreciate it.
Yes, I'm afraid this is, well, rather more complicated a blessing than I've ever tried to do.
Perhaps I can help you. I can help you.
Well, do you know the art, sir?
I have some experience. I'm not young.
I see. Well, then that could be very useful. I suppose you would you feel comfortable to assist me in this?
That's precisely why I'm here. I would like this to go on without any complications, and I am here. I am at your service.
That is good, sir. That is good. It is important that we know the proper words of opening, for the powers of the air are extremely picky.
And so perhaps you could run me through how you will be executing this blessing.
Well, I'd planned to open with the dread name of him who we do not speak of, and she starts to go through all this stuff. She's dealing with some serious ass black magic.
Okay.
This is Necronomicon type stuff. This is major league magic.
Yeah, clearly beyond me, or clearly beyond Oren. How can Oren manipulate this in the favor of his people?
Well, you're not sure exactly which power she's calling upon to do the working, except it's one of the major outer ones. But since she doesn't really know what she's doing, she's just sort of trying to see the future and then asking for ways to manipulate it. At that point, you could insert songs that would allow you to get a request in too.
Okay. So how do we do that?
Well, if you were assisting her, if you waited for the right moment, you could definitely make it work.
Okay. So I will stay and I will study her notes and work, just like devote my energy to assisting her for however long. When is the blessing that's supposed to happen? Is that the right word? Am I just saying blessing because it's stuck in my head? Or
that's what she calls it, because she's
Okay.
afraid to call it things like, the dark ritual whereupon I summon the creatures that stand outside the world into our plane, where they may try and do our bidding. Yeah, she calls it a blessing. It makes it easier for her to do it.
Yeah.
Her plan is to do it in a day or so. When the moon is dark, she needs to build an altar below Kingsport Head, the enormous cliff that guards the north shore of the bay, and has long been reputed to be a place just chock full of magic and stuff, and is well known among those who know that it is a place of worship of the undersea community of Kingsport, shall we say. Kingsport's undersea Americans.
There you go. So I will be breaking a sweat. I will be working hard. I will be doing whatever is required of Aberton in order to assist her to earn her trust, but also to kind of know what the hell's going on.
Wonderful. Excellent. Excellent. Cool. All right. So, we haven't seen the captain with much of the crew besides Bill, who everybody likes.
Yep.
You haven't talked to your boat steerers yet, besides Carlito.
Let's do it.
Hey, I just noticed you guys have the same name, don't you?
Do we?
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah. Carlo and Charlotte.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, basically same name.
It's fine.
That's neat. I like it. It's double secret share. We're getting some Conrad in here. I mean, not Conrad, but Conrad. Cool. Yeah. All right. So, the captain is expected to take a boat too, or can. There's 4 whale boats that can lower. What I'm thinking is perhaps you are taking people on their paces around the harbor.
Yeah.
Cool.
Seems like a good idea. Get a little practice in.
Cool. And maybe just for the purposes of today, you've got Carlito as your... Oh, actually, who do you take as your harpooner?
I think I know Carlito already. I think I would take someone else just to get an idea of their ability. So maybe I take Elizabeth.
All right. Cool. So you are rowing out, and she's rowing, and just her usual quiet self. Eventually, you row out until you get into an area that's definitely open water, which is kind of what you wanted. You wanted to make sure people knew how to handle the boat in 10-foot chop.
Right.
But at that point, you can also raise the sail. It's got this little. Most of these boats come equipped with a little gaff rig sail. So you guys can ship your oars. And she's just sitting there with her back to the water and staring at you since you're at the tiller. And her harpoon mounted in the crotch next to her.
Yeah, and I wind up shouting instructions to some of the other boats as we're doing whatever we're doing, running through paces or whatever. And I say, almost like I'm not talking to her, like there's no one else there, but as I'm shouting the things and I'm looking away from her a little bit, I say, so is this your first time aboard a whaling ship?
No, Captain. My uncle owns a schooner. We hunted right whales and other whales up in the north.
So are you being treated fair by the men then?
About as fair as I might expect.
And how fair might you expect?
Well, Captain, I don't think it's proper for me to talk about the men that way to their commanding officer. I take care of myself. Always have.
You understand that if they disrespect you, they're like to disrespect me.
I understand that if I go crying to the captain every time somebody looks at me funny or says a wrong word, then I'll never earn their respect.
This is a fair point. But if they ever push you too hard or push you too far and it happens in front of me, you understand punishment will be swift and severe.
Well, they should know better than to not do their proper obeisance before their captain.
This isn't my first time captaining a ship with men on it. There have been times when I was the only woman.
I imagine that to be true, sir, ma'am.
Sir is fine.
Yes, sir.
Feel as though I'm waiting for the moment when they turn around and try and test. That first time is always telling.
Well, I suppose the only question is it going to be Hezekiah trying to show that he's more manly than anyone else, or is it going to be Carlito forgetting that he's actually your man now.
Yeah. I don't think Carlito is going to make me make a scene about him. Once we get out to open sea, he'll fall into deferential order pretty well enough. Maybe it will be Hezekiah.
Maybe. He's skilled. There's no question of that. Problem is he knows he's skilled. That's the first problem. The second problem is that he's a solitary man with no wife, and therefore he thinks he is twice as skilled as he ought to be.
It's a fair assessment.
Have you not taken a husband yourself, Captain?
No. No, I'm sure my only spouse is the sea.
Well, there's them that have a temperament to take a husband, and there's them that don't.
My problem is that most husbands think that they can take a wife, and I'm not something to be taken.
It's been my observation in my family, at least, that it was the woman that took their husbands. And if the husbands thought different, they were allowed to think so.
And there's my problem. I'm not good at letting people think things when they oughtn't.
Well, ma'am, I long ago decided I had not the temperament for a wife, nor to pretend to have a husband.
So we are alike in that way.
Perhaps, ma'am. Perhaps we are alike.
Well, we should probably bring everything about. But if anything ever does get too far ahead of you, you tell me.
Yes, ma'am. Shall I take the tiller for the return trip?
Yes. I'll
All
do
right.
it, Owen.
So you have to do that complicated thing where you both walk down a pitching, 30-foot long whaleboat that's like, 8 feet wide.
Right.
Do you do anything as you squeeze by each other?
Other than, like, I don't know. I think maybe there's like a bit of an understanding between the two of us. Maybe we like shake hands or something.
I think, yeah. So she grabs your hand as you go by, and then she puts one hand on your shoulder to steady herself. And for the first time, you see her smile. And then she goes back and takes the tiller.
Great. Awesome. Yay.
Roll plus hot.
Right? Roll to turn on.
No, we can't do that. This is grim. You're on the
It's grim. Nothing good will happen.
It's cool. So Carlito, how's things go on your boat?
How are things who else is on my boat?
In absence of Mr. Fife, who insisted that he look on the boat, Bill Walker is acting as mate.
Nice.
Yeah, some of the men seem to grumble a little bit at both having the bosun over them and having Bill Walker over them, but they don't say too much because they know that that's not a clever thing for them to do on this ship. So he's running the tiller, and you guys put your sail too. And well, sir, 'tis a fine day for sailing, sir.
To me?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's good. The wind's good. Should I be trying to get the shark in this?
Oh, you could, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't help but notice, sir, that you seem to be watching the waters. You do know that we did not lower for whales, sir.
No, I'm looking for something else. A little side project.
I see, sir. Well, how interesting. Is it a seal, sir? They do occasionally still show up in the bay.
No, in fact, it's a shark.
A shark, sir?
Yes.
Well, begging your pardon, sir, but you do know that we're going a whaling, and then the sharks will follow us quite prodigiously on their own volition. If you just but wait a few months, you'll have all the shark you'll ever need.
That is correct, but I've been tasked to find a shark for a particular purpose, and I aim to do so.
I can't help but wonder, sir, what that purpose might be. Forgive my curiosity. It just seems a fearsome, strange thing to attempt.
Oh man.
No, you can just lie to poor Bill's face.
Yeah, I will. What's a good lie? How do I oh, there's a salve that someone wants to make, for healing stuff. Like the surgeon asked me for it.
Oh well then, that seems most excellent a most excellent plan. Very well, sir. I'll keep a weather eye peeled for a shark. Actually, isn't that your special move?
Oh yeah, if I look for a thing.
Yeah, well, it's a location, but we can just.
I'm a hunter. It seems to make sense that would. So I use beyond, which I think my beyond is a +1. Okay. Yes, and then roll. Okay. That is an 8, 9.
Excellent. You know the way.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So what you have to do though is you're gonna have to break off and sail a little bit around Kingsport Head, which means that you're gonna basically be disobeying the captain, who's running up the signal flag to turn back to the ship.
Whoopsie.
Okay,
Right.
that's totally fine. You can totally do that. That's so great. That's great. Cool. Let me just see something. What's the right? Cool. I think you're gonna definitely just act with force. You come across a place where there's a lot of fish feeding near the mouth of the Miskatonic, and you know that there's usually like dogfish and other sharks that hang out there. So along the way, so you tell them to sail out a little bit further to keep in blue water, and not too long after, you see a fin beginning to slice the water towards the boat.
Cool.
I think this is just act with force here.
Okay. So I'm clearing up I've rolled a lot of dice.
Yeah.
So I'm just clearing them up.
You can change the color too if that will help you identify them.
I think I will. Okay. There we go. So that's 10 plus 2. So that's a 12.
That's awesome. You get to choose 3 on that list.
Okay. So that's a force, and I think. So yeah, I'm gonna take definite hold of it, suffer little harm, and I guess I actually impress, dismay, or frighten my enemy. Can I interpret that as to like impress the people around me?
Yeah, I think we can do a little too. For first, you impress First, you're gonna impress the shark, or dismay the shark, by which I mean you get the harpoon into it so good that it can't pull free. try as it might. Second, you harpooned a much bigger shark than you thought. This
Yes.
sucker's a monster. This is at least a 15-foot great white that you just speared.
Oh shit! Yeah,
You're like, oh crap! You know,
yeah.
the
I was
boat
like,
hull.
yeah. I think I was like, oh yeah, I'll get like an 8-foot bull shark or something like that.
Yeah. So Bill's like, strike the sail, back oars, back oars. So everybody lays to their oars and pulls back, and you drag it up to the surface where it can't breathe. But as you pull it, by the time you get up close enough to pull it in and finish it, it still gets a couple of thrashes around with that sharp shark skin. So take a harm.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, you've got this 20-foot long shark flop down in the middle of the 30-foot long whaleboat.
Yeah, and I'm going to finish it off, and as I do so, I say like very quietly so other people can hear me, a kind of prayer, basically just like thanking the shark. And do whatever one does to finish a shark through the heart or brain or I guess whatever.
Yeah, we don't need to
No.
get too detailed, but yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So Cap, about an hour and a half later than you expected.
Yep.
Bill and his crew row up and winch onto the ship. But before they even bring the boat up onto deck, they first he calls for a windlass, and they haul a shark out of the boat and let it just kind of hang off one of the yardarms.
Well, I see you got the shark.
Yep, I did.
Bill is looking extremely guilty at you.
Well done. Bill, are you all right? Have you taken a turn?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, sir. Mr. Carlito insisted that we go up on this, and I figured as a harpooner he must know what he was about.
He knows my mind. He also knows that if he was doing something I didn't want him to do, the consequences would be dire.
And Carlito just nods emphatically.
Oh dear me. Okay. Great. Yeah, now you've got a shark, all right.
Got a shark.
Yeah, I think Oren, when you come back to the ship from Phoebe's, there's a shark hanging off the boat, which she wanted. So that tells you something.
Huh. That's my response. Huh.
Yeah, I just like take Carlito aside and say, "Well, I'm glad you got it so quick."
I'm sorry about that, Captain. It did take a little bit longer than I meant to. I didn't mean to make you lose face or anything like that.
Oh no. I meant you got it quick. It was only this morning that she asked us for it, so.
Oh, I thought you were being sarcastic or something.
No, I think if the men know that that's what I wanted, then it should be enough for them.
I just so you know, I told them that the surgeon wanted it for salve.
Great.
Yeah.
And that'll be our story. Great. We should probably send a message to the girl and let her know that we have that much. Either you can go or you can send the boy from the kitchen, Ali.
I'll go.
Go consort you with a witch then.
All right.
All right. Well, Phoebe's is well known. People go there for all sorts of reasons, including, cures for such diseases as sailors are off to get. I mean, scurvy. Get your mind out of the gutter. But that too. Mercury and such. So yeah, bell rings. Phoebe comes out. She doesn't look like she's bathed or brushed her hair for several days, but that may be part of her ritual. Who knows? It's like, yes, yes, yes. What do you want? Just take something and leave money on the counter.
It's Carlito. I got your shark. I mean, I didn't bring it with me. It's a bit big for that, but it's on the ship.
Good, 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 good. It's already dead?
Yes. Oh, you didn't need it alive, did you?
Well, now I got a fix for that. I know how to fix that. It's fine.
Okay.
Good, good, good. Sit you down. Let me get you some tea. Do you drink elderberry? Or do you want mint? I've got chamomile somewhere. It's for the tourists.
You don't happen to have whiskey, do you?
She looks at you. I do.
Could I have some whiskey?
I was going to save this until later, but I happen to have a very fine bottle of brandy.
Ah.
It was laid down in the year 1692, which was a bad year for witches, but a good year for brandy. Well, I was going to celebrate, but my studies tell me that the nature of time is far more complicated than I think, so celebrating beforehand is about as the same, apparently. I'm not really sure.
Sure.
But what I know is I need a drink.
Yeah.
So yeah, she pours you out some snifters of brandy and sits down and like, so you know of the art? Slurp.
I know of a art. I imagine it's a little different here, but
Well, northern climes, I suppose. I suppose you knew Centaurea or something like that.
something like that.
My ancestress, Fortune. I mean, I think she's my ancestress. I'm not really sure she's dead. She had occasion to go south. Maybe as far as Brazil, I don't know. Certainly she met more than her share of interesting people. I still get letters from this Marie Laveau person. I don't know who that is. I just forward them.
It's an interesting place. I kind of miss it, but I've also seen some other strange things and other ways. Way up north, they have their own ways.
You've been upon the sea.
That I have. Have you been on the sea?
No. No, I'm afraid of it like anybody should be.
Why is that?
Ponder you this, my dear Carlito. 3/4 of this planet is covered by water. And what is beneath those waves we know nothing of.
I've never thought of it like that, and now that I have, I would like to forget that. And he takes a sip of his brandy.
You got a shark for me. Do you know why I wanted a shark?
Because they come from the ocean?
Yes, and they're powerful and they're great hunters. These are all true things, and they have their own magic. And if anyone was a natural blood magician, twere be your shark. No. I wanted it for another reason. The shark is the purest distillation of the spirit of the ocean. It's a spirit that is of utter cruelty and no remorse. There's nothing in the waves that doesn't eat something else in the waves. And they all feed upon each other in the end.
It's true.
On the land, it's gentler sometimes. Well, now maybe. Now they're binding the ley lines in iron and they're cutting down the forests. Twere a time long ago when these woods were thick with witches. Let me tell you, we had the run of the place. And we needed to. This was a strange and desolate land full of magic, and the sins that were committed upon the land in the taking of it left their mark and will leave their mark. The sea. What man can conquer the sea, Carlito? I ask you that. You can conquer a land by destroying it, but who can destroy the sea of their own will?
I think that's what I like about it. It's wild and untamable.
Remember you that. Remember you that. You ride its sufferance upon its bosom. Untamable, and it will never, ever show you mercy.
That is why I always give it my respect.
And another thing, and she passes out. Cool. So it sounds like we need to have the ritual that night, huh?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Cool. Cool.
So I don't. So she said earlier that it needed the blood of a sinner. I don't think anyone told Carlito that part.
No. No, I don't think anybody did. So this will come as a pleasant surprise. It'll work out well. So cool. So tell me what one thing of mystic or ordinary or just sentimental purpose or meaning you each bring to this ritual.
Can you say that one more time?
To this ritual that you all attending, what thing of importance, sentimental or mystical or both or neither, do you bring your own will? Just curious as to what sort of things you might bring to a magic ritual and how that might affect it.
So
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So Carlito brings a brass bracelet that is like mostly been hammered out, but has little symbols sort of etched into it, and it belonged to his mother.
Excellent.
So I bring a small claw that looks like a crab claw or something like that. The creatures that we are ethereal, so they're not non-corporeal. But this is a corporeal remain of one of our creatures, like kind of like perhaps it was killed in transition between human form and creature form or something like that. And it is supposedly a part like of a creature that we revered, so so it's kind of like a memento of this past, of this creature that lived a long time ago. Long time ago.
Fantastic.
The captain brings a vertebrae. One backbone.
Anybody we know?
It's from what appears like, if you looked really closely at it and you knew what bones were, it's from a wolf.
Thank you. Nice reincorporation, deep cut. Excellent. Fantastic. So there is an altar that is built beneath Kingsport Head, which is a big sandy rocky cliff. If you've been in New England, you've seen these kind of promontories, but actually if you know California, it could look like sections of California too that just kind of plunge right into the water. But at its base there's a little rocky shingle beach, and you guys row out there. Felicity has to walk, not Felicity, Phoebe, and she has built a little altar out of driftwood and stone and there's a little fire burning. She used sage because she's that kind of witch, but she's also been pouring whale oil onto the water in a little area, a little sheltered bay part of it. There's not a lot of wind, and when you approach, she lights it on fire so that she has an altar fire burning on both land and sea. And she has woven a crown of hawthorn and holly into her hair, and is wearing a green robe and has a big book open in front of her. And as you come up, she just kind of nods at each of you, and you like flop the shark down. Like, good. Good. I asked a bear to help, and the bear has helped. It was an old bear, and he gave up his spirit voluntarily. Apparently, he owed my family a favor. It's very complicated with bears. You don't even want to know the kind of an accounting system a bear has for its moral responsibility. It's very complicated. But, good. Excellent. Great. She's just looking at you guys. She's obviously scared completely out of her wits. She doesn't really know how to begin.
So I've been helping her. Can I somehow set her at ease?
Yeah. I think if you read her thoughts, you'll be able to figure out what you need to do.
Okay. Seven. How can I get this character to calm down?
What she would love is if somebody there actually knew what they were doing, at least at the start. So if you act in some kind of forceful way that demonstrates your own facility with art, then that'll be enough to get her going.
So as everybody shows up, and she's kind of like at the who's there, by the way? Is it just us, or?
I think it's just you guys.
Yeah.
I will, she's kind of nervous, kind of getting started, and then I just kind of step next to her and put my hand on her shoulder, reassuringly, and I say, so we all know why we're here. We've brought ourselves to stand in proper posture before the old ones, and then I just kind of go into a little a short little kind of speech that kind of organizes the situation and puts people in place and has people hold hands or hold the implements that they're going to hold and that.
Bell book, candle cup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Cool. So she finally calms down, nods, picks up some sage and just blows it around the area, then takes out a very long bronze dagger. Without a word, she just slashes Carlito on the arm and says, blood stolen stealthily.
Oh yeah, he yells and swears. It's like, what?
And she holds you the dagger and says, now blood given freely.
And I hold out my arm.
Oh. He gives you a look, like he's not sure. And he's like, Captain, you won't hold this against me?
And I roll up my sleeve and I just hold my arm out to you.
All right, so Carlito will slash your arm.
Mm-hmm.
Give as much as you wish this to have good fortune upon you, Captain.
And so I wind up taking the knife off of you
Mhm.
and making the cut bigger. And then I hand it back to her.
Hold 1 for as much harm as you take. So that'll be up to you. 3 will get you kind of messed up, just so you know.
We'll get neither worse nor better with that. I'm gonna go with 2.
Cool. Cool. So yeah, you'll hold 2, and we'll figure out what that hold will do later on. But you're holding 2 right now. Cool. Cool. So she starts to work the working, and she needs your help. And then she grabs you, Carlito, and she's kind of pushed everybody away a little bit to stand by these little cairns of stone she's laid out, and she says, "In Dunwich, we have the old pylons and the old stones. They're much better for this sort of thing. If you're here, this will do for now. But you must speak a secret, and you must tell of your sin. It doesn't have to be me, but you have to say it. I'm sorry. I'll keep the others as far away as I can if you wish, but if you even just a word. But the consciousness of wrongdoing is important for some stupid reason." She mutters and walks away.
Yeah, so I think correctly. Sin. So I did say before that Carlito's sin was witchcraft, but I kind of want it to be darker than that, because since witchcraft is pretty normal here, I think it was actually fratricide. I think he killed his brother. So yeah,
With dark magic.
Necromancy is the surest form of recycling.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, magic was involved.
Sweet.
Yep.
Cool. When you do that, you feel something changing, as do you, Oren. So if you want to call upon your people, now would be the time to at least put, send out the blast text.
Yeah. So that's what I'll do. I'll roll right now. So I rolled a 7.
Cool. So you get to choose one, right?
Yeah. So this, I want perhaps this to be the how we infuse our song into this blessing, and it's going to be through a manifestation of visions within the minds of those presents. So kind of horrible visions. But being on how we don't really know what the purpose of the spell is, I'm not really sure what the purpose of the song is that we're trying to do. Like, I'm not sure what angle I'm trying to get at, or Oren is trying to get at with this.
They're here now, so we can let that develop, I think, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Cool. So as soon as you tell that secret, something happens to Phoebe. She kind of like straightens up and then kneels down, and she picks up some sand and just lets it run out of her hand. And you get the eerie feeling she is like watching each grain fall somehow. And she turns around and says, and she turns around, walks over to Carlito, hands you your harpoon, and she's kind of like glassy-eyed. Then she waves at the water. You remember that shark you killed?
Yep.
It comes leaping out of the water at you.
Oh gosh. I'm assuming this is like an act under pressure.
I would say so, yes.
Yeah. Wait a second. B-roll selected. Apparently, I got a 10 minus 1. So 9.
That's cool. People can help or hinder. It's
I
not.
would like to help.
I figured you might.
I'm also rolling act under pressure.
No, you're rolling plus bonds.
Plus bonds. So what's that? I just roll 2d6 and we see what happens?
You have a bond with Oren, right? With Carlito, right? So you're rolling a plus 1.
Okay. I roll an 11.
That's cool. That gives a plus 2 or a minus 1 if you want. It sounded like you were helping, so the plus 2 makes it a 10.
So I think the way that she helps is that as it's diving at you, she immediately draws her gun and fires at it.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah. She's pretty badass.
And then you harpoon it like right in the mouth or something horrible. It's just without even thinking, your harpoon flashes out. So it drops down in such a way that it's now actually making a nice T-shaped intersection with the altar. That's not creepy at all. Don't worry about it. Everything is fine. Cool. Stuff is happening, guys. Like, you watching and the stars are not right. They look like the stars of summer. And just assume every time you take your eyes off the sky and look back up, they belong to a different part of the year. Which definitely the two sailors would know. Cool. So Phoebe says, he's here. And standing on the altar is someone wearing a dark robe with a cowl over its head and holding up a fan that is made out of keys, big old-fashioned, complicated warded keys to obscure its face.
I immediately fall to my knees. I'm the believer, folks.
Yeah.
Actually, is there anything in there for that? I mean, I get righteous censure and stuff like that. That's cool. That's cool. Cool. Ship or hearse, Captain Goodwin?
What'd you say?
Ship or hearse, Captain Goodwin?
And I don't even look up at him. I say, as always, my heart calls to the ship, but I will take whatever thee would give me.
It's not the giving. I am the gateway. I am also the key.
And ship, my lord.
Such a path exists. And what would you have, Carlito Avila? Shall I not run time backwards again? Shall I not make him stand before you so that you may beg his pardon?
No. The price for that would be too much.
What do you know of price?
Carlito chooses for once to say nothing.
Smart man. So, Oren,
Yes.
with the power of your people behind you, you know that whatever your human friends here think they're dealing with, you're dealing with something on a whole order of magnitude greater. This is, if you want a vision of the true future, you can have it. If you want guidance in creating your own future, you can have it. If you want something else to deal with the material universe, also possible. I mean, yeah, there's rates and prices and things to work out.
I think what we want is to a. I think we're a homeless society. We're a society in exodus, and we want a homeland.
On the land or on the sea?
On the land. On the land.
I'm so tempted to just say that there's this great salt lake far to the west, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to resist that urge. Your people keep secrets. You who call yourself Oren Aberton. And so you must find secret lands and secret lairs. In Pennsylvania, men will dig too deep in search of coal. There you may find a dwelling, and in time no man will disturb you there. But first you must win it, and first you must survive.
We will.
I foresee 3 great trials for the ship. One you shall counter and think it only of the ordinary, though its cause will not be. One you will encounter by trying to avoid your fate, and the third will only come when you have accepted it. That is what I will tell you. What I will give you will be to my own purpose. Call upon my blessing, Captain Goodwin, if you dare. Your kind cannot understand the ways I can take you. But nevertheless, you can be taken.
She just like bows deeper. And she says, would that it were so.
A ship is a forest, adrift upon the waters. Its timbers are dead, yet they are made to live. Its leaves are stilled, and yet the sails will fill with wind. There will be no sighing in the breeze, and yet the rigging will sing when you go into a 30-knot nor'easter. The marriage is accomplished. The land and the sea are joined. And my first boon comes now. And then he vanishes. The fire leaps up, and then both of them extinguish suddenly. And the shark is nothing more than the picked over skeleton of the small amount of bone and tissue that a shark has.
Wow.
So, here's the thing. You have warped the ship out, which, for those of you who don't know anything about maritime, a ship like this can't just like untie from the dock and then go anywhere. So what you have to do is you use ropes usually to pull yourself out, and a lot of times you'll row an anchor out, drop it, and pull the ship. So Bill took care of that during the day. So the ship is now resting not at the wharf but in the harbor. As you approach the ship, the signal flag breaks out that somebody has sighted a whale.
Oh.
This is extremely uncommon. Whales do not normally come this far south in this part of the year, but they have been known to occasionally come to Kingsport Harbor. And in the very early days, the natives would hunt whale here. So as you come up to the ship, Bill pokes his head over and it's like, Captain, should we lower?
Yes.
Cool. So your oarsmen scramble down into your ship. I guess it's you and Carlito, huh?
I guess.
Let's do it.
All right. So you have a fair wind and you start sailing out there. I'm wondering if there should be some sort of. I guess this is probably you again, Carlito, huh?
Yeah, makes
Trying
sense.
to navigate there. Okay, cool. Let's see that innate compass move again.
Okay.
Because it's hard to see a whale beyond the wake they turn up because most of their body is underwater.
Makes sense. 8 plus 1, so that's a 9. I think I have a choice to make or something.
You know the way.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. So yeah, you know where to go. You've got the bearing, but now it's going to be up to you guys to catch it. I'm thinking this is the captain needs to do something to call upon your men to bring their utmost.
Yeah. I think. I think I have one of my things for this. Oh, that's my reputation precedes me. That's not what I want.
Are you going to preach your faith to inspire many others?
I was thinking about it. I don't have much beauty, but that sounds fine anyway. It's just a -1.
Go for it.
So I roll a 9. So not bad. And I think I'm straight up Ahab style, shouting to the other men as they rush to their ships, and women. And I basically say, wait, what's the rollout for that? It's 7 to 9. I get to choose 2. So yeah, I'm gonna go with they act immediately and they don't misinterpret my message. And I say, we have been given an opportunity before we even set sail to see the might of the sea revealed. And so get to ships and let's get to hunting.
All right. That sure sounds like you're going to now get close enough that I think it's time to throw that iron.
Yep. Which Carlito will do, right? And then I follow up.
That makes sense. So that would be, I guess, the using brawn and what's that called? Act with force.
Very much.
Okay. 2, 6, 8. So
Choose 2.
I choose 2. Of course, I'm going to take definite hold of it and suffer little harm.
That would seem wise.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so you let loose the iron and catch the whale in its tail. And the iron holds, so the boat starts immediately to pull forward. I think you just take harm. It's just general exertion and bruisedness because you've got to all this stuff balancing and throwing the rope and not getting your hands ripped clean when you throw it when the rope sizzles right out of your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Oren, you're being pulled by a massive beast in a tiny little rowboat. How's the situation impressing you?
I am not happy at all. I can call others like me to help in this situation if it calls for that.
It very well could. You were a whaler once, right, Captain Goodwin?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. This is a spermaceti.
Nice.
No idea what the fuck one of them is doing here.
No clue.
And it is stronger than almost any whale you've ever encountered.
Yep.
Or you guys, in like a blink of the eye, you guys are being pulled straight out to sea.
Yep.
And unlike normally, the ship is not under sail currently. I mean, Bill is going to get the shipminders to get the ship underway, but you know, you're going to have a long, hard row back.
Yeah. So I'm guessing if I want to follow up for the kill, it would be act with force.
Yeah, though I think right now the main problem is you gotta wait because if it pulls you out to sea and then it sounds, it goes bonk. And so you're kind of just all hovered up here because you know you have about 20 minutes before it's gonna surface again.
Mhm.
Right.
They usually surface right in the same place that they went down.
Right. So I'm like preparing.
Yeah, and this thing's diving lower than normal. You're watching the rope spinning out.
Am I gonna have to cut this?
Like it stops. You look. You've got like maybe 50 yards left on the drum.
So is that a thing that could happen? You could just get pulled down when the whale sounds.
The rope was actually kept so it wasn't fixed to the end, so it could just run out, and that way they could also, believe it or not, bring in another boat and hitch the rope from their boat onto yours.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
So intense.
Yeah, they were super clever about a lot of this stuff, but yeah, it's nuts.
It's
That's
really
so
good that it detaches, though.
Yeah.
I want to
good.
live.
Yeah.
So by this point, the other boats have come up, and Hezekiah is just kind of like this. He's just staring down in the water.
And I'm staring at Hezekiah.
And Elizabeth is just leaning back. She has one hand. She's even put the harpoon back in the crotch, but she has one hand leaning on it.
Yep. Yeah.
So, I mean, Oren, you could call upon the others.
I will. This is not a place for me. This needs to end quickly. 9. Right? 9. They manifest as part of nature.
I like that. Also, I have not forgotten your dreams and visions from before, so we'll just make sure we get a little bit of that in by the end of the day.
When we go to sleep on the boat.
Yep, that's thinking. So, cool. So you guys are all watching and you're waiting. There's just like a couple bubbles floating up, and it's been only about 10 minutes. You know, like all the mates have their watches out to watch because they watched the exact moment it went down. Because whales are extremely regular; they do not generally change the amount of time they spend under. But all of a sudden, there's a monstrous boiling under the water, and the sucker comes out and breaches, which is just nuts. It should not act like this at all. It hasn't been done nearly long enough, and it shouldn't be coming straight out of the water and breaching when it's got a line on it. So your boat steer, you're steering the boat, Cap. I think you need to act under pressure here.
Oh, I was going to act with force, but sure.
You got to act under pressure first because this thing breaches out of the water and pulls your boat forward into those boiling waters.
Great. So act with force. What's that? Plus balance?
Yep.
Yeah, I roll an 11.
All right, cool. So for whatever reason, you were expecting it, and it breaches and crashes down right next to the boat, which is now half swamped. But there's enough time for you to quickly run up the front and exchange places with Carlito. So Carlito, you grab the tiller. You're like, oh god, oh god, oh
Yeah.
god.
Yep.
Oh god, oh son of a bitch.
The rowers are half bailing and half trying to keep their oars in case they need to back quickly.
Yeah. So I roll act with force, and it's a 7.
Cool. Get to choose two.
I inflict terrible harm. And I take definite hold of it.
Cool. All right. So cool.
Really good.
You come right up and you hurl the lance at it, and you hit it in a good spot. And I will not get into graphic descriptions, but it's bleeding heavily. But it rolls over and it looks at you.
Oh, I hate that.
It looks at you and it knows you. And then before you can do anything, it yanks hard. It yanks so hard with a huge convulsive moment of its tail that you're pulled straight out of the boat.
Oh no.
Take a harm, which is not good for you.
No.
Now you're right next to the boat because you can let go of the lance. That's the smart thing to do.
Right.
So you let go of the cord that the lance is attached to, and the whale is spinning around. It's swinging around the side. It's right by you there, Carlito. And here's the thing: the captain is splashing around in the water, and you know how bad she's hurt from the ritual.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? Help the captain, or are you gonna throw your iron into this whale as it comes right by?
Oh, that sucks. This choice sucks, and I don't like it.
Bad.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta help the captain.
If you ask Oren, the whale comes first.
That's true.
If you ask the captain, the whale comes first.
Okay, you know what? I'll go for the whale. Let's do
It's
it.
insane. Kill the whale.
Fantastic. All right, roll with act with force.
So that's a 12.
Cool. All right, you hurl that iron right into. What is our graphic line on this? Did we decide?
Just say you hurl the iron into the whale and it dies dramatically.
Yeah, that works for me. Yeah. So bubbles back up to the water. Blood is soaking the waves, but you've killed it.
Mm-hmm.
So Cap, I think you need to act under pressure to not drown.
Yeah, that's the thing that I need to do.
Don't forget, you're holding too. We don't know what it does, but you're
I don't
holding
know what it does. So that's plus balance. I roll a 9, 10, 11.
All right, cool. So you managed to flop yourself onto the boat. You're spitting up water and blood, covered in blood. I mean, let's face facts.
Yeah.
But the other whale boats are coming up now to help tow the whale back.
And I think that when I hit the deck and I get the water out of my lungs, I start whooping triumphantly.
Nice.
Because this is the best.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is amazing. You guys come into town pulling a whale, which there's no reason to set up the tryworks or anything on the ship. You just bring it in and they'll set up the tryworks on the wharf and haul it out. But Josias meets you on the deck, Cap, and it's just like, do I owe Phoebe a gold watch?
And I'm covered in my blood and the whale's blood and water and just all of this. And I'm smiling like it's the best day in the world. And I say, gold watch, maybe 2.
Well, You know that we're not going to count this against the ship. We're not going to count this for the ship's profits.
She wraps one arm around his shoulders and says, "Count it against whatever you want," and then strides away.
Christ. Cool. So what I'd like to do is have you guys tell me what horrible nightmare you have, and then let Oren add a detail. Does that sound okay to you, Alejandra? Cool. So I guess it's you two, because Oren has great dreams, just super pleasant dreams.
So like a recurring nightmare or something as we dream that night or something like that.
Up to you.
Carlito definitely has like a recurring nightmare. And it's usually he's on the ice hunting a seal and a hand breaks through, and below the ice is his brother. Yeah. So that's the gist of it. So feel free to add whatever you want to it.
So those creatures in the picture at the bottom of my character sheet. So you're hunting the seal, and then you see these kind of lights kind of descend as this is happening, and it's like you can't really make them out, and all of a sudden you kind of realize that they're creatures, and as the hand is about to burst through, because you kind of know it's coming. It's always a surprise, but you always know it's going to happen anyways.
Yeah.
As that happens, it's just like you just kind of get engulfed by these creatures, just like from every direction, and then that's when you wake up.
Fun.
Awesome. Charlotte's nightmare is she's running in the woods at the head of a pack of wolves, and she knows she's hunting people that she loves, and she's like voracious, and she like catches and dismembers them, and like it's the same. She's had this nightmare her entire life, and there's nothing that she can do to escape it. And so at the very end, she's like feasting on the last person that she's ever known, and someone reaches down and like strokes her wolfy little head, and that's usually when she wakes up.
Yeah. So when you go in for the first kill, and then you're not a pack of wolves, you're a pack of these creatures, and they're and you are like this creature, so you're floating through the trees, through the tree line and up on top, and the people aren't scared of the wolves, they're scared of this like otherworldly thing. So it's like it's instead of a fear of death that you see on their faces, it's a fear of their soul, for their souls.
Oh, terrible.
And then you just kind of you descend on them, and then what's left of the people is not like this eviscerated human, but it's like this mummified, just totally like just decrepit, just mummified, like all their energy and whatever was like sucked out of them, and then there's just like this trail of mummies.
Cool, great. Cat's
Yeah.
Cat. What does Bluebeard's bride say when the GM shivers in fear?
Pass the keys along. I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, cool. That was interesting. So we'll pick this up next week with our continuing variable cast, but that's cool. It's big ensemble TV show on. It's like dialing HBO, Showtime, stars.